Hello, how's everybody doing? You guys doing okay?
Hello, how's everything?
Okay, sorry about that. A little bit of the echo. All right, gonna talk. We're gonna be talking a little bit about California today. There's some videos out about this. I want to see what you guys think. And in the future, we're gonna be doing some rage episodes. We're not doing that right now. At some point, I'm gonna react to some terrible people and jump out. But right now, I'm still working a little bit on my formatting and getting this shit to work together. Okay. We want to set up. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna give everybody a few minutes to come in here. About say 5 minutes. Hmm. I was also eating. Hola. Hmm. A little bit of Chinese rice. Hola, Sarayu. How you doing? You can hear me. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah, someone was asking me, how is the weather in California, says Roman Viking. It's warm and fraudulent. I'm going to be looking a little bit into that today. To do a little bit of investigating. Now, what we're having here is there's going to be a probe, right? Florida's good. All right, good to hear it. It's going to be a little bit of a probe, right? And I wanted to find some news about that probe and talk to you guys because this is part what I call the disenfranchisement of the voters, especially and specifically the Black and Latino voters, right? Because what this would do in California is disenfranchise Latino voters who have a right to vote. If you have a whole bunch, and a lot of these people are coming from South America, the illegal ones. Now, if California has the chance to get them to you know basically make it look like make it look like these voters represent the people of California, well, who are you disenfranchising really? I had something queued up here, but I may need to go into. Gonna watch a video. Like I don't like all of this guy's opinions. There's some things I disagree on, so I'm trying to warm up to him, right? And we're gonna watch this. We're gonna watch a little bit of. This is just a warm up, right? We're gonna start this warm up with a man you may know as Benny Johnson. You guys ever heard of him? Have any of you guys ever heard of Benny Johnson? No. All right. Well, that's who we're gonna be looking at over here. You guys like my California background? It took me a little while to get it into place, right? But I had to fly over to California. As you see, I'm here in Cali. Made it to Cali. We're going back to Cali, Cali. I'm back in Cali, right? I'm over here in California. As you can see, I'm clearly over here in California, right? And what we're going to do is I'm over here investigating the fraud. There's been some election fraud. There's been some people that are getting some last minute votes. And, it's kind of disgraceful that it takes this long to, figure out an election. But we're going to be looking at a video from from our boy here, Benny Johnson, right? Let me see if I can make this the right aspect ratio. Here we go. All right. You guys let me know if the audio is good. Okay. I'm going to go into this. All right. He's taking a deep breath. He's about to get into some shit. All right. You know what? If he does good, I'm going to give him the like and I'll subscribe. Okay. And you guys do the same. But no matter what you do, right, I'm going to be cutting into a lot of what he's saying. Not because, this is for commentary. This is for us to analyze. This is for you to analyze. Like if you guys see something, you say, hey, let's go back a little. Remember what was said here and there and that and the other. We can go back to it. Now, I have seen some takes from these guys that are terrible. I have seen some takes from this guy that are great. But I haven't really been a deep connoisseur of Benny Johnson. So we're going to see what's up with him. We're going to see what's up with him. And what you should always do is go to the original content. Like if you like it, make sure you give it a full view, because sometimes it flows different when you just let him speak his mind, full on. So, and we don't want to be a replacement for the content. We don't want to make sure, like, if they do a good job or a bad job, that you check them out on their own platform, right? Because we don't want to be taken away from them. We just want to give a little bit of commentary. All right. So here we go.
To everyone who says nothing ever happens, election fraudsters are being arrested in California, although not mass arrested. I'd love to see Gavin Newsom arrested, to be quite honest.
Okay. This guy's speaking my language right now. All right. Because, I was pretty much like, well, why doesn't anything ever happen? I need things to happen. And if we're seeing some arrests, I'm happy. I would like to see more arrests, but you know what? We get what we get. All right? I'm going to be working on this. California woman federally charged with paying individuals, including homeless people, on LA Ski Road to register to vote. I think Nick Shirley caught some of this, or someone else. There's some people that went in here and caught this. And I remember, like, I saw a video about this shit, right? These people are just fucking, they get homeless people to sign up under other people's name. It's some crazy stuff.
California woman pleads guilty to federal charges, not state charges, of course, federal charges for paying individuals to register homeless people in LA's Skid Row. The FBI has cracked down on Skid Row. FBI agents were seen walking up and down Skid Row and hunting down leads. What's going to happen next? We're not sure. FBI says we caught them, and then posted this article. FBI agents descend stunning election bribery crimes. We caught them. Well, what does that mean? Securing our elections is the utmost priority. Okay, fine, great. Arrest people. And Kash Patel shared this article of a woman saying that she did, in fact, pay people to register.
You see, what you got to do with these people is you got to put so many counts, so many years on their head. Make them like face so many years, put so many charges, let those charges like stick. Like, hey, you're right now in the middle of a trial. We're giving you everything. We're giving you everything as far as we're putting every charge on you. We're going to recommend maximum sentencing. You're disenfranchising a lot of people, and have them snitch on whoever is paying them, and giving them the money to pay for the other people. And then, you know what? That kind of organized thing, I don't know if you would call it RICO, but you would call it, sedition. There is a case to be made for this being an organized crime. This is a recent election. This is a very recent election. This is where I think her name is Karen Bass. It's not based. She's not based at all. She's the one that oversaw during LA during the fires. Remember the big LA fires? And she was running against a gentleman who lost his home in the fire, right? So that's what this is about.
Sure to vote. And this is, of course, criminal under California election code, improper signature gathering tactics. But California didn't prosecute it, of course, because they use these godforsaken hellscapes in Los Angeles. I mean, look at this. This is the Los Angeles mayoral election. Karen Bass wins the ghetto, obviously. Spencer Pratt wins the, uppity nice areas in Beverly Hills and so on. And
Okay, so Spencer Pratt, I believe that is the gentleman that lost his house in the fire. And, he did live in a nice area, but I don't think he's very much an elitist. Why am I saying this? Because if you to live as a middle class American in California, especially in LA, you have to make a lot of money. Like to live in a middle class home, like a medium, like a normal home, you got to make a lot of money. So he's probably a person of means, but he is seeing that they're not there, that nothing was done, that everything was mismanaged, and you know what? He got sick of it, and he decided to go ahead and get out there and
Nikki
make himself
Rahman
a candidate.
wins in downtown LA. That is effectively the world's largest homeless encampment, especially right here in Skid Row. Of course.
So you see that? So Karen Bass is the one that basically lost. All right, she basically lost. But this Nithya Raman somehow got all the votes where the homeless people are. And homeless people, they don't have a district. You know why? Does anybody know why homeless people don't have a district? Anybody? Well, I didn't know that. Maybe we can have a movie night and watch one of his movies. And so far, nobody can. So, yeah, some far left. No, but yes. This is like a council, someone who worked undercover. Thank you. No home. How do we know where? How do we know that these homeless people, you understand, represent which part of California? We don't know from where they went over there to get their drugs to sign up. Like, they don't have an address. No address. You need an address. How does this happen? I'm going to explain how this happens.
Of course, they still haven't figured out what the final count is. Isn't that amazing? They still haven't finished counting.
She was losing, and all of a sudden, this is how I was looking at the start, and this is how well, this is, I think this is per area, and this is the total. But this woman came out of nowhere.
Anyway, the point is that they used the homeless crisis to rig elections, and the person who brought us the California woman who pled guilty is James O'Keefe, and James O'Keefe is out with another banger. We have caught more election fraud on hidden camera in Los Angeles. Tomorrow, we're going to show you that it's still happening, and here it is. Election petition worker offers cash for fake signatures on California ballot. NGO workers confirm election fraudster.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure we give you guys, I'm going to put it here in the chat so you guys can see it. How can I make show comments on stage? Oh, here we go. Okay, I want to make sure that I give you guys the link to this, and I'm going to try to find James O'Keefe and link you guys James O'Keefe as well, so that you can guys, if you guys are on the Twitters, you guys can go ahead and, Jesus Christ. Okay. I just saw something a little bit alarming, but that's fine. We'll deal with that later. Here he is. Here we go. Now, I want you guys to be able to follow. First of all, I want you to follow Benny Johnson. Like him or hate him, like so far he's doing fantastic. Like, I'm liking everything he's saying. It's good to support the content just because he's helping me have some content, giving me someone to interact with. I'm trying to be transformative. I'm trying to be, trying to be a good a player here with him, right? Trying to work together with him. Because I'm beginning to be a fan right here, right now.
Are still out here, undercover journalists Say to stay quiet near the cops. Okay. What did James catch? Well, he caught the exact same operation that Gavin Newsom said he shut down, still in process. Here we go.
We visited Skid Row again, hoping to see the sidewalks clear of any election fraudsters. But to our surprise, we found the entire place had mostly returned to the same constant chaos, crackheads stumbling around, and the same election fraud schemes on almost every street corner, some even featuring familiar faces.
Okay, apparently this guy was there on June 18th, was there on February. I think this is the same guy, right? He would give them free Obama phones or something if they signed up. Like, this is like basically giving them some stuff like most Californians have a right to, giving it to these people that he doesn't know where they come from, right? Let me explain it to you this way. If you live in California, right, and you have low income, you may qualify for a California free phone, all right, an Obama phone. Okay, so how do you know you qualify? Well, you take this person's real name and address, right, and you take some homeless person and say, hey, sign for this person, take their phone, right? If we need to call you, we'll call you, and you're going to say that you're this person or something like that, right? But in any case, they're not really going to call. They're just like giving them the phone. They know that they're going to sell it. They know they're going to sell it, or they're going to say they lost or whatever. And the point is that what's happening is probably they're legitimizing that address and that transaction with the government as being a recent transaction, using it as a point of registration and giving the free phone. You understand what I'm saying? This is what I'm guessing. I have no confirmation on this, but how can you give them a free phone? Are you buying? Are they giving you millions of dollars of free phones? No, it's probably an Obama phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, you're giving out phones?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Look, some of it. Okay, so okay. Look, I think maybe I saw it in passing. Some of his stances on the war, some of his stances on Iranians. You know how people lump Iranians and the IRGC together, and you know, sometimes they go a little ISO cook on me, you know, and I don't like it. Okay. But maybe it was someone else. Maybe it was someone else, and I'm confused, and I'm a dumbass, and I got the wrong person. That's also a possibility. You got to remember, I am a monkey. All right, let's run it back a little bit.
Oh, you're giving out phones?
Yes.
Oh, man, I have my ID. Damn.
ID?
No.
This man behind me was actually caught bribing homeless to sign petitions, which is illegal.
You're not even being a good investigative
Well,
journalism.
I'm actually trying to
You're not
ask
doing
you.
any investigative journalism.
Why are you so fucking hostile,
This is
bro?
my petition. This is my petition.
It's not even here. You asking the wrong nigga. That's my shit.
Bitch ass nigga, don't come over here again. I'm gonna beat your ass.
Our journalist sat with one of the homeless residents of Skid Row named Emily, and she quickly revealed that the petitioners are still active and pointed our journalist towards a couple of them.
So if you walk around the corner this way, there's a lady right here at the red tent. Turn this street right here on this side of the street. And she sells hot dogs. And asked her, like, hey, you got petitions? You see my sign that's petition. Down there, there's a guy that stands by the bathrooms on the left.
You see the people going crazy all around here.
Right next to the bathroom. You see the bathroom right there? Yeah. Don't ask loud so no one else hears. So I guess when people ask loud, that's when they tell them no, you know?
We then headed to the bathroom that Emily mentioned, and almost immediately our undercover journalist was offered cash to sign a petition, with this gentleman offering them $2
He looks a little familiar. Was he the guy from the other time? Maybe someone else.
to sign as someone named Timothy Adams.
You see what I'm saying? They got to give somebody else's name. This guy's just giving $2. That might be like a wad of cash that they get. That they say, yo, give them. I'm gonna give you $10 each, and you give them 5 each, and you keep 5 for each one that you get signed. Maybe he says, no, fuck it, I'll give him 2. You understand what I'm saying? Oh my God, TV has live Skid Row cameras. Wonder if this is capture, says John. Probably. Probably.
What are you doing out here? Right in there from there, I'll give you $2.
Do what?
I'll give you $2 right in there from there.
Oh, they doing the things?
Yeah. I'll give you a thing right down. I'll give you $2.
Hey, I'll give you $2.
Fucking incense right now.
No, because I'm nearly spending with shit.
Oh, man.
Alright, so the name you're gonna write is gonna be Timothy Adams. Good people.
Oh, so looks like we got money for this and shit?
Oh, yeah. You're right. Timothy Adams right here, and I'll give you.
Okay. Paying citizens to sign petitions is a violation of California Elections Code 18603, which states, quote, every person who offers or gives money or other.
And this could be a petition to say, hey, we want illegals to be able to vote. A petition to say, hey, we want illegals to, get Medicare and Medicaid. We want them to get free housing. We want to put them up in hotel. You don't know what the petition says. They're just signing it for money. You understand what I'm saying? And once they have enough petitions, they can turn it into a law. You understand what I'm saying? They put it in a ballot. So that's, you got to understand the power of petitioning the government.
Valuable consideration
I'm guessing. I'm not a legal expert on how California state election law works, but you guys get what I'm saying.
to another in exchange for his or her signature on a state, county, municipal, or district initiative, referendum.
Okay, so here's where we get into it. So this is not just petitioning, I don't know, a fucking trying to think of a famous singer. This isn't a petition to have Taylor Swift come in and make a performance. This is a state petition, right? Signature on a state, county, municipal, or district initiative, referendum, or recall petition.
A recall petition is guilty of a misdemeanor.
So yeah, it's pretty obvious what we've been saying this entire time. That the president needs to step in and they need to shut down all funding.
What you need to do with people like that, a misdemeanor is such a low bar that they're going to be out by the afternoon. They don't fucking care, right? They need to take that and say, hey, you've done it so many times that it's going to be like, I don't know, you need to change the federal law because the state law is not going to do it. And you got to have some adjustment in the federal law that if you catch 10 of these people and you tie them to one person, it's like, okay, now it's organized. And because it's organized, well, it's going to be a modifier that goes for a much larger sentence, right? Because if you keep it at a misdemeanor, they're not going to give a shit.
For these homeless encampments, they are funded by the Housing and Urban Development in these massive grants. Hundreds of millions of dollars of your tax dollars go to fund these homeless camps. And the libs in California use them in order to crank out votes.
So you hear that? They take grants that they take from the federal government, take that money, buy some tents, take the rest of the money and make them sign petitions and shit.
And that was on full display, as you could see. The fraudsters straight up breaking the law, fully aware that they're breaking the law here in James O'Keefe's new expose. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, they don't give a shit.
Police over here always asking, like, how much you paying to sign? Bro, you like literally just trying to make me hot, like, you know what I mean?
The fraudster even expressed that he is well aware that what he is doing is against the law, because the fraudster even tells the journalist not to ask him about it when there are police nearby, echoing what the homeless woman, Emily, warned our journalist.
Don't ask loud so no one else hears. So I guess when people ask loud, that's when they tell them no, you know?
He even compares the election petition fraud to selling dope.
Let's say you were the police. How much you paying? And I just answer like, that's like saying, how much you sell dope for? Yeah. It's 60. You don't know how to fucking be like, yo, you're a cop. You know how to fucking be chill about it? Like,
we ran the license plate of the vehicle that this fraudster was operating out of, and it returned the name Anthony Zach Spears. And upon reviewing some of our earlier footage from back in March, we were able to find...
That's the guy? I think that's this guy, right? This is him right here.
Petition fraudster Anthony Zach Spears has been out of Skid Row buying petition signatures for months, maybe years. The journalist also interacted with workers from the NGOs operating in the area, and they all confirmed they have seen the fraudulent petitioners all over.
I'm trying to help him. Do you know where the petitioner people, they give out cash, you know where they are?
Yeah, across the street, they do some on every corner over here.
Oh.
Yeah, go with San Pedro. That's where they do. That's where they are.
That's where they are right now?
That's where they are.
All the petitions and stuff? Oh,
And the money keeps to keep tanks followers free, allotted to saving some kind of frog that's been there for eons. Anyway, I didn't need saving. Okay, yeah. This is like the little minnow. Like they didn't want to the fire hydrants didn't have any water because of little minnow upriver, so they didn't have the aquifers full. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. How did he get a job? Is he out of his own pockets pulling hundreds and thousands of dollars to do this every day? Roman Viking says, Is he acting on his own? How did he get the job? That's the question that the Fed's got to put pressure on. But if the misdemeanor is so low that motherfucker isn't under any pressure to fucking talk, right? He's not gonna fucking say shit.
I have them over here somewhere. I don't know where. I've seen them. You have to look for them around, but they should be around.
Where the people signing petitions to get cash? Do you know where they went?
Really was over here for sure, but now I haven't seen them
Today, but they've been around.
Yeah, they've been around.
Yeah, you talking about? So I think this is Spencer Pratt. His election.
I've seen them down here before, but I don't know where they are.
It's against both laws. It's against state and federal law. But the state doesn't prosecute it because the people in the state that are supposed to prosecute it get elected by them.
What corner they're in today?
Listen, this is what the First Amendment was about. Like, if you can't keep the government in check through speaking on what they're doing, they're going to do whatever the fuck they want. So that's why the First Amendment is there. And the second one is there to protect the first and protect yourself against the government. People say, you don't need that to hunt. Motherfucker, the Second Amendment was not signed over a hunting war. It was signed because they want to get rid of the fucking government. They shot the government. When they wrote that, the context was shooting the government. All right? It wasn't about shooting deer, or you don't need that to hunt deer. Motherfucker, we didn't have a deer war. It wasn't a deer revolution. It wasn't a hunting revolution. We didn't have a hunting revolution with the United Kingdom. I don't know what they called it back there, Britain. We didn't have. That's not the reason that we had a war with them. It was a war. We were killing their government. We weren't killing their fucking deer. That's what the Second Amendment is for killing your government. I'm not saying you should kill your government because right now we have a right to vote. So, use the vote, use the ballot. I'm not saying go kill anybody. Of course not. But if we're talking about the context, historical context of the Second Amendment, it wasn't about hunting. It wasn't about self-defense. People, you don't need that many bullets for self-defense. Motherfucker, it wasn't for self-defense. Oh, you don't need that many bullets for fucking... Oh, but the government has tanks. Yes, it has some tanks, but it doesn't have, what is it, like 400, 700 million people in America? Let me see, how many people in America? Population of America. I think it's 700 million. No, I was closer to 400 million. $340. Okay, 340 million people. I was 700 might have been a bit much. Yeah, but okay, if you have 50 to 40. Yeah, 350 to 40. I was right on the first one. It was closer to 400. If you count the illegal immigrants. But my point is, right, that you don't have enough tanks and enough gasoline to be in that tank that long, right? So and everybody in America has a gun, your tanks and your planes ain't shit. That's one thing. Another thing, every state has its own army, right? And not every state is going to be for, oh, Jesus, including the illegals. Yeah, 700 million. that's dire straits if it gets to that. Iran is a perfect example of why we have the second. Yeah. If the Iranian people were armed, the Ayatollah would never been able to take power. All right, let's get back into the video.
No, because I did it before.
You did it, right? You did it?
Yeah, the petitions, I did that before.
They're never going to stop until we make them stop. And we have to change the way that we do things. We have to change the law. You have to. We have to pass the Save America Act. Then you need to pass layers of more voter protection laws. It's the only way that we survive, ladies and gentlemen, especially with the birthright citizenship. You know, a lot of those people travel to California. You know, they travel to California in order to get their American citizenship. These Chinese nationals pop off the plane, pop out a baby, and then you're good.
I want to put his link again. I like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm confusing him with someone else. Seems like a good guy. I want you guys to. Yeah. Oh. Wait a minute. What are we doing here? Oh yeah, he's got the like. He's got the subscription. Yeah. Homie has my approval. He's doing a good job there. You know, O'Keefe is legendary. All right. If you're a Democrat in any power, and some hot, a young chick is talking to you, trying to date you, taking you out to, going out to dinner with you, it's James O'Keefe in a wig, all right? You getting got, let's not tell them. They're not watching. They don't know. But that's how he gets it. James O'Keefe does a lot of that. He's doing this, but he does a lot of that. So we're going to get into that. I also want to look at, I want to see if I can hear from Spencer Spratt himself. I'm not finding. We could look at a little bit of Tim Pool. Tim Pool's cool, but he's become a little bit of an ISO cuck sometimes. I stopped watching. I straight up unsubscribed because he'd gone too far into the isolation and shit. And I was like, I'm not gonna support that shit. You too far gone. But let me see. I do want to look at another excellent young man over here doing excellent work. And I think we should check out here. And his name is... Yup. Okay, I'm already subscribed. I already love this guy. You guys know who this is? Nick Shirley. That's right. We're going to give Nick Shirley some love. He does a lot of great investigative reporting. He is the one that taught us about the Leering centers. And you know what? It's a wonderful thing. I want to see this guy go, sky's the limit. Go as far as possible. Maybe take office someday. Let's see how it goes. I want to make sure he stays happy, healthy, gets a beautiful family. He's a very young man, but he's out there getting shit done.
We're just looking for these individuals as they're registered to vote here.
Oh, I remember this. I already saw part of this. I think I saw all of this. Because there's a dude named Asmongold. He's like the Hermit King. And the Hermit King he loves Nick Shirley. That's how I kind of came to know Nick Shirley, through the Hermit King. Right? And some people call him Roach King, but I don't want to be disrespectful. I know he loves it, but I want to approach from a respectful side. But Hermit King loves him, so he already has my approval. I can't believe. Oh, it's because this is my new account. That's why I'm not already subscribed.
John Thomas and Philip Thomas. Is Gloria here by chance? Because she's 100 years old and she voted last election from here.
Can you see my? I said I want.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years old.
No, I'm not.
And you think it's
Are you 126 years old?
possible illegal migrants could be voting?
Do you know where the ballots might have gone? For 108 people, that were registered here?
See that? Like he's finding places where they're registering people that say they registered, like they live there, so they have a right to vote there. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, no, I live in the storage unit. You know what I'm saying?
Comes to fraud, most people think about money. However, there's another potential massive fraud story taking place in America, one tied to the most consequential system in our country, which is our voting system. This has to do with everything about who runs the country and how elections are actually controlled. And if we don't have voter integrity, what even are we? And there's one state that is the breeding ground for potential voting fraud, and that is California, where it can take up to 1 month to count all of the votes, no voter ID, and millions of ballots are cast by mail. And with voter rolls that are extremely vulnerable to errors such as
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm over here talking my fucking jaw off and I'm muted. Oh my God. I apologize. I gotta make sure this button. Wait a minute. I got a solution. I got a solution. Hold on. Hold on. I'm gonna make my microphone work backwards. Upside down, baby. That way, if it's off, the red thing is in my face. All right. You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me, and I'm talking my fucking ass off. I'm going to rewind it. And I'm going to go to what we're talking about here. Okay, what are we talking about? People think that the Nick Shirley Act was about the homeless encampments, and Nick Shirley went out there and he was basically exposing the homeless industrial complex, how the homeless industrial complex takes money from the state grants, takes money from the federal grants, and takes money from NGOs that are doing NGO fraud because they're keeping most of the money and just, it's just a giant waste, right? And they're kind of like funneling into it all kinds of other things because that happened. And about a month or two later, they made a Stop Nick Shirley Act, right? That's not why that law came to pass. This is why that law came to pass, because the thing that Nick Shirley did that pissed off Gavin Newsom and all those political pieces of shit in California was that he was going after the registry. He was going after the voters registry directly, and not just the registry, their addresses. It's like, why are these people registered to vote? Like their house is this storage unit. Does he live in the storage unit? Like one of the requirements is that it has to be a home. You can't just live in a fucking mailbox. You can't live in a storage unit. That doesn't count.
over 200 people who are over the age of 125 years old registered to vote in
125. Remember when there was people 200 years old and fucking getting social security checks? It's that kind of shit.
certain areas. And now to see how easy it is to vote, I headed to the location to register to vote inside the state of California.
Now, this is the register of voters right here. And I want to ask him, why don't you need voter ID to vote here inside of California? I was curious, how come in California you don't need voter ID to vote?
Because when you sign your affidavit, you're swearing that you're telling us the truth, and we compare the signature that you put on your application to the
Battery 65%.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Oh, you don't have to show your ID because we can just look at the signatures." He said, "Okay, but what if I'm lying?"
Do you think it leaves any room for error with voter ID, or? Yeah, I'm just like curious because I want to make sure that like our elections are as fair.
That's called faking the funk. She faking the funk. Oh no, no problem. I work in the government. Don't you see that the system that is in power here has been paying me for so long? I don't give a damn about anybody else.
Honest as possible, and I feel like voter ID is just something super simple to have. And do you think it's possible like illegal migrants could be voting?
Oh, illegal migrants voting? It would have to be breaking some kind of law.
Not really.
Oh, okay. So if they broke the law to get in, but they wouldn't break the law on an affidavit so they could vote.
How? I mean, what's showing their ID?
Yeah, if they don't have their ID and they could just sign on behalf of Richard Sherman, then they could technically vote, right?
They would be lying.
Oh, would they lie? I don't think they would. Oh my God, they would be lying.
Yeah, but what if they just don't care? What if like Richard Sherman and Billy Bob Joe just don't care?
Is the state going to prosecute him? Is Newsom going to prosecute him?
But so you don't think illegals would ever vote, would you?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, because it's convenient to keep me in this cushy job I got right here. Yes, but if you're signing up someone else and using someone else's name for government benefits, you get a free vote. You get to use them in the voting rolls. You probably get to start making all kinds of fraudulent transactions in their name. They get on a card. You get a fake ID. You start using that fake ID to do all kinds of transactions, and not necessarily you maybe even open a line of credit on a person that maybe has a good life somewhere else. Maybe you moved out of the state. Maybe it's a made up name. But how are you going to get that money? Who keeps the benefits? Who keeps the benefits? Whoever has the EBT card in their pocket.
No.
Woman, do you take your job seriously? Absolutely not.
So instead of showing,
there's no way this lady is that naive. No, but she has to pretend for the camera. This is how the state's going to find these people. How is the state going to find these people and prosecute them? Exactly. Yes. No, California leads the way on fraud. Like whatever fraud they're doing, every other state does it like 2 or 3 years later. Like the Leering centers that started up in Minnesota, I bet that model was perfected in California. Bureaucrats often shut off their brains and become robots first day in office. Nah. That bitch knows she wrong. Yeah, they follow orders, but it's like, hey, you know what? That's because of federals won't ever prosecute. We've always had, listen, this is the problem with the slippery slope. We at the bottom of the slope and people acting like at the top. They already done the fraud. They already done the persecution. They already used the lawfare. It's time for us to just out of self-defense, we got to start prosecuting these people. Yeah, slap on the wrist. Yes, but they got to get long sentences.
Showing your ID, you sign your signature, and then it is scanned to verify it is you. So technically speaking, anyone could show up saying they are someone, and if the signature is similar, that vote will then count. And with millions of people voting, it leaves room for fraud to occur. Just take these two examples.
A Southern California woman is facing 5 felonies after registering her dog to vote in 2 elections.
This bitch registered her fucking dog to vote. Oh, wait a minute. There's some cognitive dissonance here. What's going on here? How can you look in the mirror and call yourself a Democrat and go along with this? Let me explain something to you. These people are disenfranchising black people. This is what Democrats do, right? It's Democrats. They love disenfranchising black people. They love disenfranchising Latino. They lost the Civil War. They wanted slaves. They wanted laborers with less rights that they could easily control, right? They say, hey, you know, I'll whip you. You have less rights. I'll call ICE. You have less right. I'm going to pull your zipper down and suck my fucking dick, or I'll call ICE. I'll open up the buttons on my pants and you suck my dick, or I'll get that whip. They love having citizens with less rights. These are Democrats. Democrats invented Jim Crow. All right. They invented segregation. They invented gun laws so that black people couldn't defend themselves. All right. There was no party flip. They are still against your right to own and defend yourself and your property. Nothing changed. They were the party of forced sterilization. And when that didn't work, they changed to promoting it. This is the party of Buck versus Bell sterilization. How can they look in the mirror and be the evil people that they've always been? Easily. Now, if you're talking about the ones that did not know their history and they're delusional about what a Democrat was, well, that's I'll give it. Look, I used to be a liberal. When I was very, very young. This is eons ago, back when internet came in the mail. You guys remember when internet came in the mail? Or no? Do you guys remember that? Internet used to come in the mail. Came in the mail with the newspaper. And you would say, okay, there used to be this thing called the CD, compact disc, right? Exactly. You see, here's a person that knows, you know, AOL cards. Yes. You would get your internet in the mail, and that was 30 hours of internet. In today's internet, that's about one episode of Rick and Morty. A good scroll through Instagram, and you're done, right? But hey, internet used to come in the mail, right? So in the ancient times, Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that Democrats, they've always been like this. There was a magical time in the 90s where everything a Republican says now, you could hear it out of the mouth of a Democrat then. But it's not like that anymore. Let's get back to the video. I'm getting sidetracked.
The dog's vote was even...
Oh my God. Okay. You know what's up. My first game console, and I had it when it was brand new, just came out, was an Atari. The compact disc was harder, and it was shinier than the floppy disk.
Counted in one of those elections.
Oh my God. They just doxed the dog too?
To vote in 2 elections. The dog...
Oh my God. Don't blame this. Look, this is not fair. This is not fair. Hey, I know. Hey, cutie. I know this was not your idea. Probably embarrassed about being in the report. Don't feel that. Okay? There's no bad dogs, just bad owners. Unless it's pit bulls. Pit bulls are dangerous. Oh my God. Looks like a boxer or something, right?
This vote was even counted in one of those elections. Those behind the stunt say she did it to show the flaws of the current system.
Hundreds of people. Oh my God. Okay, so she was snitching. She did it to snitch on the... Okay. Yes, okay. You know what? I'm with you guys. No. I'm with you guys here in the chat. Roman Viking says, pardon the dog. You know what? Don, if you're hearing this, you probably never hear it. But Mr. President, We have to pardon this dog for this federal election fraud. He was part of a sting. All right. He's like a whistleblower dog, and we have to pardon him. We have to pardon this dog, and I want to shake his paw because he's like, a legend.
Who cast votes according to state records, but we found they've been dead for years, including a woman who died in 1988, and records show she somehow voted in 2014.
Died in 88, voted. You see?
6 years after she passed away. Then there's Julita Abutin. Records show she voted in Norwalk in 2014, 2012, 2010, and 2008. The only problem is she's buried here at Forest Lawn. Abutin died in 2006.
Julita, bendito, Julita, te tienen votando. Oh, God, Julita, they got you voting.
Is it possible your mother voted in 2014?
There's no way.
There's no way.
Abutin's daughter Maravik says it's certainly impossible that her mother voted, but the LA County Registrar confirms they have signed vote-by-mail envelopes.
Oh, signed vote-by-mail envelope. And who's out there getting signatures again? $2 a pop?
With her mother's name for the 2014 and 2012 election, even though she died 10 years ago.
See? Yes, this is the fraud that Trump is talking about. Jennifer Smith is checking out what's going on here. This is the fraud. This is fucking Democrats are like, I understand that some people don't know, but after a certain point, you're either willfully ignorant or morally corrupt. Look, let me explain. Pit bulls are like Muslims, okay? You don't wanna cast a white net. I'm sure there's lots of good ones. But every time you hear about one of them going crazy, someone dying, it's one of them. You know what? But I don't want to speak ill of pit bulls. I don't want to speak ill of dogs. I know there's a lot of dog lovers here. But it is what it is.
So it's not some crazy conspiracy theory to think that people are illegally voting inside the state of California, and with the state receiving millions of illegal.
He would just wanted to play, or he was defending this territory. Either way, they got better reasons than the jihadist.
Migrants, the opportunities for fraud now are even higher as millions of undocumented people are living inside of the state. Now let's go meet up with a man by the name of Urson who has dedicated years of his life digging through voter rolls.
Nick Shirley has a knack for finding these genius artists that kind of like get in there. You understand what I'm saying? And go through the numbers. Like, I hate math, but I love people who love math. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? It's like, hey, I'm not crunching these numbers, but oh my God, bless you for crunching those numbers. Here's a coffee, maybe a beer when you're done. You know what I'm saying?
Finding fraud and inconsistencies throughout the state.
So how bad is the voter fraud here in California?
Well, we actually don't know because law enforcement isn't really investigating it, and we don't have.
Okay. It's a lot. He's saying we don't know, but I'm just gonna ballpark this for you. A lot. It's a fucking lot. There's a lot of fucking fraud. Like, we talked about the Supreme Court. We talked about how Black people and Latinos are being disenfranchised. We talked about how the Democrats saw the large amount of Black people that started voting for Trump, the larger amount of Latinos, legal Latinos voting for Trump. They hit the panic button, and as soon as they could get Biden through the door, they started flooding everywhere that Black people and Latinos turned to Trump with illegal immigrants. Like, this is just a plan. This is a fruition of a plan. This isn't some spur of the moment thing. Like, they don't have to sit down and have a meeting where converging interests meet. This is something that George Carlin says. Yeah, you don't gotta have a funny hat and a secret handshake. If they're all in the interest, they're gonna say, "Oh, hey, that works for me. Hey, yeah, keep doing that because that helps me do this. This helps me do that." They know how to work this kind of fraud. All right. But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put a ballpark estimate. All right. And we're gonna talk about it in terms of weight. Okay. It's a metric shit ton. It's a lot.
Have people qualified to actually figure that out.
And what kind of fraud is taking place?
Well, we have voter rolls of about 22 to 23 million people in California. And we have just in Orange County for
Wait. Let's run that back.
figure that out.
And what kind of fraud is taking place?
Well, we have voter rolls of about 22 to 23 million people.
Oh, Nelly. 22 to 23 million.
In California. And we have just in Orange County per se, there's 60 to 70,000 changes a month that happens.
60 to 70,000 changes a month just in one county. It's in Orange County, but it's just one county.
So the amount of time and effort to go and follow up with every one of those, we just don't have the resources to do that.
To be fair, I don't know if Orange County is actually orange. It may be blue, and that would be sad. It may be red. That would be great. If it's orange, that means it's for Trump. But we don't know what Orange County is doing.
And so what information have you been collecting about the voting fraud here in California?
We have people that are still in our rolls from 2008 that are still getting ballots mailed to them that haven't voted in 18, 16 years.
And so if they haven't voted, what's the problem with them receiving those ballots?
Well, sometimes
Okay, that's a good question.
there's votes that happen later on with someone that hasn't lived here for 12 years. And we found several occurrences of that. When we turn that in, those are treated as independent incidences that don't affect the outcome of the election.
Okay. How many was this?
18, 16 years. And so don't
he
have
said
the
enough.
resources to do that.
And so what information have you been collecting about the voting fraud here in California?
We have people that are still in our rolls from 2008 that are still getting ballots mailed to them that haven't voted in 18, 16 years.
And so if they haven't voted, what's the problem with them receiving those ballots?
Well, sometimes there's votes that happen later on with someone that hasn't lived here for 12 years. And we found several occurrences of that. When we turn that in, those are treated as independent incidences that don't affect the outcome of the election. So they're highly disregarded from our concerns as voters.
And what information do we have right here?
Well, we got several different pieces that we're looking at today.
I'm sure it's thousands. He didn't say a number of how many they have turned in that are, hey, these people, like, okay, it's like saying, oh, you haven't voted since to the year 2020. And all of a sudden you pop up to vote in 2024. So why are you voting here 24 years later? Well, let's see. Let's look at the name and see if the name is registered in any other state. Aha, they had moved to Texas. They had moved to Florida. They had moved to New York. Wherever they moved, hopefully not New York. Well, yeah, no, hopefully New York, because they might vote the same way. Anyway, the point is that this person is appearing again because they probably found their name in some old database and used that name and address to register them to that old name and address and use their vote. Right? They found it on some leak. So they found it on some whatever. You know, their old PlayStation address and name popped up in the PlayStation leaks or some shit. Oh, you're from California? Let's use that. I'm just giving you examples.
One thing that's just a simple anomaly for people to understand is there's people that show to be 125.
Or you have someone in the government that's just looking at the old records, and using them.
Years old in our voter rolls. And that's a simple data flaw, but the issue is it keeps happening over and over again to the tune of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds in every county. That's a large size like where we're at today. Another one is we have a lot of voters that are at central locations, 10, 12, 15 people at a place where what is this business?
Okay, so we're talking hundreds and hundreds per county, but these are just problems with registries, right? So there's different kinds of problems with registry. He's looking at one kind of problem. There might be, he's looking at the kind of problem that's old registry. He's like autistically looking at old registries, people that are dead, people that moved. That's his thing. He's not looking at fraudulent new registries. You understand what I'm saying? So he can be looking at a problem that's hundreds and hundreds of people per county, and all he can do is look at how much he can do. You multiply that by 5 people, you might get 500 over and over, 1,000, 1,500 in a county. But he's only going after this old stuff. Are you registered? Is this a person that was registered a long time ago and then it shows up again? Now, what about the new registries? What about the new registries? You'd have to have a whole different autist, a whole other weaponized autism, agent, soldier out there looking at the new ones that specializes in looking at them. You got to find these special people that God gives us to clear up this fraud, and there's different angles. I'm sure there's many different angles to get these voting fraud done.
What is it doing? These people are still going to continue to get ballots. Another one is like a lot of the.
I just wish we could do this digitally directly so we could have more direct democracy. Okay, direct democracy may be a terrible idea. It's better to have a constitutional republic. Maybe you're not thinking of the direct democracy, what it usually means, like an absolute democracy, like you can vote on everything. If everyone decides that eating brains is okay, hey, we voted on it. You understand what I'm saying? If we all decide, hey, you know what, it's on issues. Yeah, you can vote direct on issues. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But the thing about that is the fraud. Did you see how they were doing like petitions for petitioning for new laws and stuff? That's kind of the problem. Like digital direct is good, but I'm gonna tell you something. I prefer paper. Paper is great. All these problems come after the digital ballots.
The sororities and the dorm houses, where we have typical turnout, or voter turnout is like in the 50 to 70% range, but it's like 106 out of 108 votes cast. So it doesn't mean that that's fraud, but
that is suspicious. Wow, everybody voted? Really? Jesus. 100 and okay, so that's like 99% of the people that are supposed to vote. Wow, that's a lot of people. You just registered everyone.
It means these are out of the normal order of what happens. And so that's what we're going to be going around and looking at today and seeing what's out there and what we can find. We have a system where you can register to vote in California without a driver's license number or social security number. Why do we allow that? That creates 9.6.
Let's run that back.
And what we can find. We have a system where you can register to vote in California without a driver's license number or social security number. Why do we allow that? And seeing what's out there and what we can find. We have a system where you can register to vote in California without a driver's license number or social security number. Why do we allow that?
You can register without a driver's license, without a social security. Why?
That creates 9.6 million records that then the state has to send to the Social Security Administration. And when 75% of those come back with no matching Social Security record, it should make every California wonder, why do we have a system like that? Why do we
have a system where there's so many mismatches?
In a system that's creating work and uncertainty.
And so what have you done to get this information about the voter fraud that's taking place here in California?
Well, we get our information from the
Hey, Tom, you should check this guy out. Because the way they register voters makes me wonder if this is going on in other places. This dude's name is Nick Shirley. Right? So he's showing the fraud and all that stuff, but the way they register people is kind of funny. Like, I'm guessing in UK it's not legal for illegal immigrants to vote, but if you're out there canvassing votes and registering people and all that shit, I don't know how that goes. I don't know if you need a voter ID to vote, or you could just do it with a driver's license. But if it's easy to get a driver's license, then that's a problem.
Secretary of State. We get it directly from them. It's a lot of information and it's very complex. And so we get this from the state, we package it up, and we help with our other researchers across the state that go and break it down into their own counties.
So we have all this information, and now we're going to go head out into the streets of California and see what fraud we can find. Where's the first place we're going?
We're going to the local retirement community, and the reason this one is just kind of particularly odd, you got 45 people registered, and 41 of them actually turned out to vote in the last election.
Wow.
So that's just, again, not typical for 55 to 70% turnout. So it's a mental crisis senior rehabilitation center. So we're just going to go there and see, is there 45 people there? Is there beds? And check it out. Can we speak to a supervisor?
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, it looks like there was maybe 41 of 45 people that are registered here. Does that seem low or high to you? Like, as far as how many patients or residents you have?
That's probably not accurate anymore.
So that lady right there said that's probably not accurate.
Right.
So
that means that those people what do you think happened to those people? Even if they were real, what do you think happened to those people in that old people home? They're probably dead, but they're still getting registered.
Could be a huge location where hundreds of votes could be casted from this one location. She said that numbers sound like they're inaccurate, 41 out of 45.
Yes, I think voting should be a holiday. He should not have to go to work.
Correct. So is there a lot more people that could be registered to vote and could be having their voices expressed?
Well, let's move on to the next location.
You got it.
Now we're here in the University of San Diego because they got lots of voters here. But what's the deal with this location?
It's some sort of Institute for Peace and Justice. So,
yeah. Disenfranchisement. That's how you do peace and justice. Yeah, sure.
It doesn't seem like you'd have a lot of voters like registered at some sort of an administrative office, but it very well could be. I mean, there's students that are all over the place here. So maybe it's some sort of a central mailing house or something like that.
You have a conference room.
I'll say, so you're legally allowed to take off work to vote. Yes, legally allowed, but that creates the whole problem of you having to leave work, go to the vote, and then come back, right? And some places are not going to give you the whole day off, and it's just easier to remove the whole thing. Just make it a holiday. Because what are you going to do? You're going to sue. Now, if it's a holiday, you don't have that friction with your boss because nobody's at work. You understand what I'm saying? It creates friction because you got to ask your boss. If you don't even have to ask your boss because everybody's just like, hey, it's a holiday. Hey, it's a holiday. It makes it so the boss doesn't even want to ask you. I mean, there's some places that, like, there's going to be gas stations open, even if whether or not, even if it's a holiday, they're not going to close down everything.
You have Garden of the Sky, the Kroc School, classrooms, conference rooms, anything but dorms. And this is the location where 58 people are registered to vote.
Okay, so one of the things about registering people to an address is it has to be a place where they live, right? You say, oh, no, I just get my mail there. Well, if you get the mail there, that's not the place that you register. You could put a P.O. box as your mail address. Like there's in America, I don't know, like in other places, but in America, it's customary to have like a mailing address and a physical address, right? So you have to register your physical address.
Here inside of the state of California.
Is this like a central mailing location, like this building for students and stuff?
No, this one is not. So we do have a mail center.
Okay, even on top of that, it's not even a mail center. right? It's not even a mailing center. So it's not a mailing center. It's not a place where people live. So why the fuck is this the physical address? Okay, John Leon, or Leon. The Newsom is one of the biggest crooks in government, and I'm speaking as a California resident. He's stealing our taxes and our votes. Yes, Leon, yes, because there's a lot of California Latinos that are sick of the bullshit, sick of the fucking illegal immigrants. There's this thing like, oh, because I'm Puerto Rican, right? I'm supposed to be okay with someone from fucking Peru, or I'm not saying anything against people from Peru, but some illegal, possible cartel member coming over here and voting for me. That's not how that works. It's racist to think that just because a person is Latino, they're gonna be okay with Latinos coming here illegally. That's stupid and racist. There's a lot of Latinos that are very conservative about the government. There's a lot of Latinos that left socialist governments and they don't like this shit. And there's a lot of Latinos that aren't going to automatically. There's Latino countries that hate each other, just like there is Asian countries that hate each other. Koreans, they got a little bit of a beef with the Japanese, and some of it for good reason. You know, it's not good to blanket blame, but let's not act like this is all kumbaya and I'm automatically your brother. It's not like that. We have compassion for each other. But I'm not going to let y'all cheat and take my shit just because, you know, we both speak Spanish. That's bullshit. Bueno, tú sabes cómo es esto. Están quitándonos los votos. Nos están robando los votos. They're stealing our votes. Now, okay, see, this person says I'm Mexican and Republican. Now, what do you think happens if you have 5 illegals going against his legal vote? That's not fucking fair. I'm sure this person probably pays a lot of taxes, and him watching his taxes gets spilled all over fucking Skid Row. Must be disgusting. Let me read it out. I'm Mexican and Republican because I see what the Democrats are doing, and the illegal Latinos don't even like Chicanos. They call us fake Mexicans. They're full of shit. They're not even, I bet they're from fucking, you know what we need? We need to build a wall in Guatemala. You need to build a wall in South Mexico and make Guatemala pay for it. What do you think about that, John? Oh my God. It is so much easier to build a wall. How do they get across Panama? That should be like the hardest part. Like Panama is like an easy place to just stop the thing. Because I want to tell you something. If you think American ICE is bad, you should see what Mexican ICE will do to you. Oh my God. They'll fuck you up. I remember this was years ago, maybe probably like a decade ago. They found a whole bunch of illegal immigrants like dead somewhere. And it's because the you know, the ICE of the time was a little bit in line with the cartel, and they didn't like what these people were doing, so they got a little bit of their own.
Because right here on the John B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice, it says we have 58 registered to vote. And
58 registered to vote. So this is not a residential area. This is not like an address. And this is also not a postal address. Not a postal address. It's not a physical address. So why the fuck are 58 people registered here? What the fuck?
50 people voted from this location.
So it's 5998 Alcala Park. You're saying
is the entire university.
Is the entire university. So where do the ballots go?
Okay, so the address, no, but they put the name of the institute. Remember, he was reading the name of the institute.
I have no clue.
Okay.
I've never seen them.
So far, we're 0 for 2 as far as getting any clarity about where these votes are being cast from here.
Yeah, or any sort of real clarity.
And at these locations, when
Bro, this is a nice university. I'm gonna tell you right now.
There's only around 40 to 50 people registered to vote in locations where there's hundreds and thousands of people. It leaves lots of room
These are like students, but they don't want to say
for
shit.
speculations,
So this is like
especially when nobody actually knows what the real count is and where the votes are being casted from. And just a reminder, all this information from Urson is the most up-to-date information from the Secretary of State of California as far as the voter rolls go. The fraud can
So they were showing like an example chart over there, not the real votes. Is like, but something like that would be what it would look like. Okay, if you like to vote in Germany, you have to register an address first with the city with confirmation that you live somewhere as a tenant from your landlord. Like even the landlord has to say, yeah, he's my, yeah, he giving me money. I'm paying taxes on what he gives. You're not gonna as a landlord. You're not going to go tell the state, yeah, I have someone that pays me rent. If that's not true, because then you got to pay taxes on it. You then get the invitation to vote mailed to your home. If you like mail-in ballots, you have to request it in with your signature, with compared to your ID card. And everybody has a fucking ID card.
continues. Now we're outside of a extra space, a storage unit location here. 5 people are registered to vote.
Correct.
Did they cast their votes?
3 of them did in the 24 election.
So 3 people cast their vote and they're registered to vote like at a fucking storage places. Okay. I don't know if you guys notice, but sometimes there's these places like, let's say you have an office and you're moving office, or you're moving from one state to another state and you can't take everything with you. So you say, look, for a month or 2 months, I'm going to put this in this storage place, right? It's just a storage locker, and I'm going to pay for 2 months. If I don't come back and pay, they're going to keep everything in there, right? But you know, it's what I want to do is come back later. So this is not an address. This is not somewhere where you would live. This is just a storage area. It's like it's basically a warehouse where they rent out warehouse space.
Then we had one that cast a ballot in the 2020 election and one that's never voted. The point is that unless this is a primary residence, right, or where you can
Look, I see what you mean here, because 4 hours paid is like a little good extra cheddar if you fucking just vote in half an hour and you get to like have your lunch and you know, fuck off. But I think it should be a federal holiday. Why? A federal holiday means less traffic. It means you don't have to take your kid to school in the morning. You don't have to pick them up in the afternoon, right? It means that all the government workers don't have to go to work, right? And if it's federal, that means the state workers also don't have to go to work. That reduction in traffic alone, is going to make people like you that maybe are going to have to go to work anyway. It's going to make your life easier, right? You may be able to get the day off, but even if you don't get the day off, if it's a federal holiday, it means that your trip over there and to come back is going to be so much easier, bro. I mean, Gina would be a female, so, you know, it will be so much easier, Gina. If they just give everybody the fucking federal day off, all the state workers can just fuck off and, you know, stay home, and all the federal workers fuck off and stay home, and bam, you got clear roads. Nobody's going to school, none of that shit.
sleep, right, which no one's supposed to by law allowed to sleep in their public storage unit, then this is not.
That's another thing. Like, you can't sleep in a storage unit. Like, some people might try it, but you're not supposed to, and you definitely can't register it as a home, because I bet California has a fuck ton of regulations on how it should be in your home. But hey, if you could, okay, so imagine it this way, Gina. Imagine it this way, okay? You do get the 4 hours paid, plus it's a federal holiday, so the roads are clear. Isn't that nice?
Illegal registration, and these are the things that the county continues to let slip through the cracks.
Let's see if they're here. We have the names of all.
Also, they could do that. They could like make it normal that you get 4 hours paid if you have to go to work, but also the federal employees got the day off. It could be both, right? It could be both, right? What do you think? ¿Qué tú crees? Y si te dan las dos cosas, if you get both things. Gina Vega, that sounds like a Latino name. Maybe you understand a little bit of the Spanglish.
5 people. Let's see if they're here. How's it going, sir?
How are you doing today?
Good. We're just looking for a few people here. We have Lily Maury, Philip Thomas, Sydney Thomas, Robert Thomas. We're just looking for these individuals as they're registered to vote here.
Do you have people that live here at Extra Space?
Are you Robert Thomas?
That motherfucker just look confused, like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay. Okay, so who gave you this list real quick?
Oh, from the Secretary of State.
Yeah, it's publicly available information.
What about Robert, Sydney, Philip, and Lily Thomas? What about them? Do they also get their ballots here? Robert Thomas, Sydney Thomas, John Thomas, and Philip Thomas.
Can you give me one? Tú me das un momento, por favor.
A second.
Do you know where any of those individuals are? Any of the Thomases?
No, they're not here right now.
There's no one living in storage facilities, right? That's
No,
really
right?
the question, right?
Like that's that. Like he's like making the legal case. And if you ask them, they say, no, you can't fucking live here. That would be illegal. We would get in a lot of trouble.
Just wondering if people are actually living in storage facilities or not.
So 5 people are registered to vote here. They confirmed that nobody lives here. A little fishy. California's got some weird things going on. So 5 people, and they didn't know where any of the Thomases were, but this is their primary location.
Well, if those 2 people actually live here and this is where they stay, their primary residence, right? They get their driver's license here, their tax stuff comes here. It's completely legal. But the other people,
not a problem.
I'm going to skip ahead because I want you guys to be able to see the original content, right? I want you to see the video. I want you to see the original content. I'll put the link right there. That's Nick Shirley. This dude is fucking legend. All right. And, I want you to give the guy, a like and a follow because he's like taking away this disenfranchisement. These people are disenfranchising Latinos and Black people. It doesn't matter even if they vote Democrat because there's different Democrat candidates, right? Like maybe Spencer Pratt was running under Democrats and these Latinos wanted to vote for Spencer Pratt. They didn't want fucking Karen Bass or that other like new bitch. So they're disenfranchising Democrats too. They just get to pick the one they want because they get to use illegal immigrants to take away the votes from legal immigrants, from fucking Latinos that have a visa and they have like a residency or they have a citizenship, right? Been born here 30 years, right? And parents born here. Like your parents were born here and you were born here and you've all been living here and you've all been paying your taxes. Yeah, you're an American. I don't fucking care. You're too far down the generations for me to give a shit, right? Like if you're just born, you came on vacation. I'm like, okay, you. I don't know about you. I don't know about that baby, right? I don't know about that baby. But if you down like the 2nd generation, 3rd generation, okay, you're good. But these people are disenfranchised. Okay, what does the word disenfranchising mean? It's like you're stealing my vote. You're stealing my vote because you're canceling out my vote with an illegal vote. So you're taking away my voting rights, right? Gina says, yeah, probably be both. Yeah, that's right. That's how it should be. If you vote in person, you go to the polling station. You only get actual ballot if you show your ID. They compare how you look to your ID card. They compare it. Okay. You need an invitation. Okay, it looks like it's pretty strict. Like the Romans know what the Vikings know what they're fucking doing. All right. This is kind of near the end of the video.
If someone is registered here to receive their ballot, but this is their primary residence.
So he is going over the difference. All right. He's just talking to some dude in the street. I don't want to get too much into this.
I still ain't approving of it.
We headed to the next.
I think this was a funny interaction. I think he had a funny interaction here, so I want to like lighten the mood with this.
Why?
Pretty sure.
I really don't.
Right now in Polymarket, he's leading for the Democrats as far as who's going to be the next. California should require voter ID.
Do I think that voters should require voter ID?
Yes.
No.
Why not?
Why?
How come you need an ID when you go to the airport?
I don't know why you got to do that either.
So do you think it's possible to have fair elections here in the United States if people don't prove who they actually are by giving their ID when they go and vote?
That's too, I can't even answer that. Because I'm like this, if you here, you can vote. It's just too much paperwork.
Too much paperwork.
Yeah, too much bureaucracy, too much stuff. It's just too much.
So when you go vote, you don't want to show your ID?
Nah. Heck nah, for what?
To prove that you are you.
I mean, anyway.
Okay, but what if someone else voted for you and you show up to vote? This is what he should have said. Okay, what if you show up to vote and somebody else without an ID voted for you? And they say, sorry, sir, you can't vote. Such and such voted for you. There's 3 Democrats candidates. Maybe you were going to vote for a Democrat candidate anyway. But how do you know that the person that voted in your name voted for one of the 3 you wanted? You just got disenfranchised, fool.
Anyway.
So no ID.
Nah.
He should have asked them that. Okay, what if someone votes for you? You get over there, someone already voted because they didn't need ID. They just said your name, and they didn't show an ID that said your name, and they just voted for you.
What if I wanted to vote on behalf of your name?
Bam! Got it. I think I remember this. And that's why I thought about it, because I saw this video before, and I think in my subconscious, like I knew what he was gonna say, and I thought it was my idea, but it's probably because I already saw the video.
Why would you want to do that? Tell me why I want to do that, and then I can make a decision.
What if I wanted you to vote Democrat and you're a Republican?
Oh, but what he should have said, what is there's 3 Democrat candidates and the one I want is not the same one you want? What if I wanted to vote Republican and you want to vote Democrat? Like, you got to give him different scenarios so he could, like, it might be harder for him to put himself in the shoes of caring about the Republican, but it would be easier for him to say, what if you want Karen Bass and I want Spencer Pratt? Or what if you want whoever Mithiliwika, blah, 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 whatever was the name of the other lady, and you want Karen Bass? I'd be stealing your vote, even if it is Democrat.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a point.
Like, okay, you got a point. He conceded the point. You know what? That's more than a lot of Democrats do. They just like deflect and like say, I gotta go. You're a racist and run away. This cat, at least he intellectually engaging with the logic.
But I still ain't approving of it.
We headed to the next.
He still doesn't want to have to show ID for shit. What do we say here? Okay, we have someone from California talking. I want to get their views. Californian votes don't count. That's why the mail-in ballots come in late, because they need to know how many mail-in ballots are needed. Yeah. They're like, oh, how many do we need? Okay, we'll have them right up. Yep. That's how it goes. That is how it goes.
And it was the exact same thing where tons of people were registered to receive votes from a PO box. So we're wondering, do these people live here?
I don't know.
Okay, so this is something that people like us gotta check. Okay, hear this. Listen to Gina. Gina dropping some gems. She's giving you some knowledge. Bigger cities have more voting corruption. I log in on a gov site to check where my ballot is, because you don't know if they're gonna send your ballot somewhere else. Gina dropping some knowledge on you, motherfuckers. I mean you motherfuckers in a loving way. I love you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers are here for me and I am here for you. I don't mean that. You know what? Mothers need love too. Mothers need some motherfucker. That's what Father's Day is about. Giving, you know what I'm talking about? So all about the love here. All right, let's go back to the video. I'm getting sidetracked.
Like, are they living inside the post office?
This is the address of the post office, right?
Yeah.
This isn't like their mailing address. That's like their actual registration address. Do you see ballots that have like PO box on them and things?
Yeah.
And it's not a problem if someone is registered here to receive.
You see that this is what they're going. They can't live there, but they're going over like the logic of it. They're gonna say, like I told you earlier, you gotta have a residential address and a physical a residential address and a mailing address. They could be the same, but if it's not the same, you gotta have your residential address too.
Receive their ballot, but if this is their primary residence, that is a problem. And that's what the case is for all these people right here.
And it's an illegal registration based on state law.
Because this leaves a lot of leeways for people to vote fraudulently, whether it be a ballot.
Okay, why is it important that it's an illegal registration according to state law? Does anybody know? Because voting is determined by state's law. So you got to catch them by their own laws. There's no federal law in local elections, right? There's federal law in presidential elections. And there's federal law in Senate elections because that's a federal representative, right? So there's a little bit of a mix there. I wouldn't say it's full federal. There's some things that the state decides how to do it, how to elect a representative to the federal government, but the federal government could kind of like work its way into like, hey, we need like this minimum requirements. That's what the SAFE Act is about, right? Because that works better with Senate and Congress, because Senate and Congress are going to go determine things for every state. And when you go together to determine things for every state, then that's where the federal government comes in. But when it comes to state, like your mayor doesn't have to go doesn't represent you at the congressional budget. Your sheriff isn't going to represent you. Your judges aren't going to represent you over there. So that kind of voting, thanks for the bananas, John. That kind of voting is more local, right? But you got to catch them in the local law. And if they're doing it wrong in the local law at a large scale, then you can bring federals in and say, hey, they're not following their own law. Who is going to force the state to follow state law? If the state decides to ignore state law, it has to be someone else. It has to be from the outside.
Harvesting or them just voting on behalf of somebody else.
And that's the thing that we have the greatest concern, right? 23 million ballots go through some process. This is one post office in one city, in one county, in our entire state, right? So it just has an exponential impact when you add up all the little small things that are going on.
As you can see, there's a lot of issues with these voting rolls and a lot of inconsistencies. And one of these inconsistencies is people over the age of 100 years old that are eligible to vote. For instance, there's a lot of people over the age of 125. And in
Bruh.
eligible to vote. For instance,
Jesus Christ. 126. All these motherfuckers are 126. Jesus Christ, look at that. Look, you could say that they filled the date wrong, right? That they thought it was like, I don't know, day and month. But bruh, that they thought that this was the day and this was the month? Maybe, but not here. 115, no, I don't think it works like that either. Bruh. Yeah, no, this doesn't work. This doesn't, yeah, no, forget it. This doesn't work. They're just, wow. You see that? Must have been something in the water. Yeah, I know. Fucking Fountain of Youth. This ain't Florida, though. This is California. You know what I'm talking about? This is California. Fountain of Youth wasn't here. Ponce de Leon didn't come over here. He went to Florida. Oh, my God. They targeted cities and counties. Yeah, this is like what some of these places, like Chicago. I bet Chicago does this shit too. I can almost guarantee you. In Riverside, Sheriff Chad Bianco ran for governor, found corrupt before all this. The state attorney stopped him from investigating. You see? Gina knows what's up.
there's a lot of people over the age of 125. And in this video, we just filmed around a 15-mile radius. So imagine what it's like all across the state of California. And
bruh, this
now let's go see if there's actually 126-year-olds voting in California.
Are you Doris?
She's right here. Yes.
Hello, Doris.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
We're just going through the voting rolls here, and we're just confirming anybody who's above the age of 100 years old. And right here, it says you're 126 years old.
No, you got the wrong house.
That's a lie.
Are you Doris Wood?
Yeah, but you got the wrong house. I'm Doris Wood, but you got the wrong place. That's the wrong information, all that stuff. No, that's wrong.
Oh, here, I can show you if you like.
No, it's just that it's wrong.
How come you think here in California they're just messing up on all these voting rolls here?
I don't know, because I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it says he voted in 51 elections, Doris.
No, not me.
51 elections. That means they have been using. Oh my God. I don't know what the hell is going on here.
Really?
I'm not no 100-some years old.
I know.
I said I wasn't.
I just want to make sure you're not 126 years
No,
old.
I'm not.
Yeah, it really does say you're 126 years old here.
No.
Says-
Who did this? You be 126. That don't even make sense.
I don't even, this is, you can tell this is an older lady, and she seems like what the hell are you talking about there, son?
No, that's what the Secretary of State says.
Well, the Secretary of State is wrong.
Okay, well.
That motherfucker
Like this,
wrong.
I was born in 1940, so you figure that out.
I was born in 1940. See, she's like saying, no, I'm old, but I ain't that fucking old.
All right, Doris. You have a good evening. All right, so this lady's name's Virginia. She's 125 years old.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna link the video again. I want you guys to check out Nick Shirley, goddamn patriot, fucking hero. You guys check him out. All right. I'm gonna see what else I got for you guys here today. I want to look at some more. All right, we got 15 minutes left into the show. I want to watch a little bit of this gentleman named Glenn Beck. Now, this guy's a legend, but I gotta admit, I haven't seen him a lot. Right? I've seen him a little, but not a lot. And he is talking about the fraud in California, right? I believe. So this is from 3 weeks ago. That means that this is from around the time that the election over there was going on. Oh, what did I do here? Here we go. All right. Well, let's just play
Bill,
it.
welcome to the program. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Glenn. How are you?
Oh, there's a call-in show.
I'm good. I am so glad you're out in California.
I'm gonna speed him
No,
up a
you're
little.
probably not, but I'm glad you are. Tell me what is tell me what credible allegations exist that warrant a formal federal investigation.
All right. Well, let's a couple things to keep in mind. I am prohibited from discussing ongoing investigations, but we can talk about what is in the public domain and what we're doing in general. Number one, election fraud is not a theory. It is a real thing. Election fraud happens every year. There are people charged and convicted of it every year. Just last month, we charged and obtained a guilty plea from a woman named Brenda Brown, who was captured on a James O'Keefe undercover video, paying homeless people to register to vote at her address. That is a violation of federal law. You cannot pay someone to register to vote, and you cannot place false information on a voter registration form. And so we charged her, and she's agreed to plead guilty. So that's just one little tidbit of the types of things.
I think the reason that he could give that name and that example, but talked about the rest as an ongoing investigation is because that person pled guilty. That case is over.
We're looking into. We do have multiple ongoing investigations in similar vein regarding election fraud. Now, what the media always wants to jump to is, well, that's an isolated incident, and you have no evidence that it's widespread. And this is something I've been battling since I was in the legislature here. I go, you have no idea how spread it is because you've never looked, and you have no desire to look, and you don't care about preventing fraud.
That's a good point. If you say it's an isolated incident, but you never go ahead and make a wide investigation, then it's never going to be. You're never going to find evidence that it's a widespread problem because you never did a wide investigation. You never went through the depth and the breadth of what's going on in the system.
Let's just break down the system in California, and then we'll talk about the challenges we have and what we're going to do about it. California is a fraudster's paradise. Make no mistake about that, whether it's hospice fraud, healthcare fraud, or election fraud. The legislature, who should have a obligation to protect the citizens of this state and this nation and their pocketbook, does the opposite. They go out of their way to make it as easy as possible for people to commit fraud. And how do they do that? This has been going on for decades. They have basically taken away and reduced all the fraud prevention measures that you would want in other states are legal in California. Starting with, you got to start from the beginning, registering to vote. Almost anybody can register to vote in the state of California. You don't have to have a social security number, and you don't need a driver's license number. You can go on the website right now, and
you don't need a driver's license or a social security number to vote, to register.
There's a box for each of those fields that says, I don't have one. And you just check those boxes, and they will register you to vote. Now, California says, well, you will have to show an ID the first time you vote. Go look at the post I put up yesterday that links to the Secretary of State's website for the state of California that tells you what they consider acceptable forms of ID to register to vote, including a gym membership, a prescription label.
A gym membership. Oh shit! I didn't know this shit. A prescription label.
Your employer ID card, and my favorite, a health insurance card, which California gives out health insurance to illegal aliens.
First, let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. Let me tell you a little secret about real estate.
Okay, I don't care about your real estate agent. You know, hey, if you need real estate and you need to go talk to Glenn Beck, get his shit. I'm not trying to replace his contact. I hope he gets good. He gets his money, right? But I'm not dealing with all that. I want to talk about this here. How long does it take to expose all this? Even Ilhan Omar. Did you know Ilhan Omar, Somali, rice and banana Muslim, had a winery, and she made millions of dollars apparently selling wine. Oh yeah. That's the most bullshit money laundering scheme I saw. What they're doing is what the Sopranos do. They'll make up like a little fake job, right? They take that paycheck, get a little kickback. They take a little bit of a funds for this fake student, and they take those funds, they take a little slice of it, and kick it back to Elon in a little envelope, like the Sopranos used to do it.
Can basically register to vote in the state of California. Then California has done universal vote by mail, which means if you're on the voter rolls, you're going to get a ballot mailed to you whether you want it or not. And no questions asked. So they put millions of ballots out into the mail, into the ether. The voter rolls are dirty. They have not verified that there's only eligible U.S. citizens on the voter rolls. And we know they also don't clean the voter rolls. So dead people, people who've moved, convicted felons are also receiving ballots because they're just not good at cleaning the voter rolls. So put all that together, and then we have no voter ID when you vote, and you have legalized ballot harvesting, which is probably where a lot of this shenanigans is happening, is at that point, the ballot harvesting. It used to be against the law to handle anybody's ballot other than your own or your immediate family member. That changed in 2018 in California. Anybody can handle anybody's ballots. There's no chain of custody. Wow. There's no requirements of who can handle it. There's no paper trail of who touched the ballot and turned it in. And so these harvesters are out in the world for a month collecting ballots from God knows who in God knows who circumstances. Who knows what the conversations are at the door? Who knows if the voter's actually filling the ballot out? Nobody knows. And then they dump all these ballots in the mail. And let me tell you, these are professionals, Glenn. These are organized union groups. They've been doing this for decades illegally, and now they're doing it legally because they've gotten the legislature to legalize their activities. That makes people's jobs like mine incredibly difficult. When we charge someone with fraud, we have to have evidence. And
California makes it impossible to get the evidence. Okay, I see what you mean. We have a comment here from Gina, dropping some more knowledge on us. Sacramento legislation is really corrupt. They all know each other. Newsom's chief of staff pleaded guilty to bank and wire fraud, and probably skipping on taxes. She also connected to Becerra. Becerra, I've heard of Becerra, and what I heard is that he's kind of tied to some dirty shit. I don't want to speak out of turn. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Becerra's chief of staff was guilty of millions missing when Becerra was working for Biden. Okay. Oh, was Becerra working with Biden and he was the one that wasn't processing the kids right? Or that a bunch of kids went missing under him, of the illegal aliens kids? I think that was the guy.
Has removed the paper trail. They've removed the chain of custody. They've removed any meaningful way for us to basically have a forensic audit of where a ballot came from. So we're doing the work. We're doing the best we can in the circumstances. I expect people will be charged, but we need a wide-scale audit of the California voter roll, which is what Harmeet and I have been trying to do for the last year. We have sued the state of California to comply with HAVA, which is a federal statute.
Okay, so there are federal statutes here. Apparently, HAVA is a federal statute on the voter rolls,
which says only eligible U.S. citizens should be on the voter rolls. Unfortunately, Congress did not put a lot of teeth into that statute, so I don't have any criminal penalties assigned with it. All we have are civil, and so we are suing the state of California. We are in the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals now. California has resisted and stonewalled. They refuse to comply with the Attorney General's request to hand over their voter rolls to confirm that they're in compliance with federal law. So
they're basically inactive. I think it's not treason. There's a different word for it. Sedition. These are acts of sedition against the government. Oh, John also knows what's up. Yatkins went missing under him and not going to be governor of California. I think they got him on recording saying that, no, you got to process these people like fucking Henry Ford processed card. It's got to be a machine. You got to be like, it's got to be an assembly line. I think that's what he said. You got to process these kids from an assembly, grab them here, put them there, pop, pop, pop. Like he didn't want checks, that they're taking too long to check who these kids belong to. I think that was Becerra. He's saying, yes. Does this sound familiar? Am I on the money about this? Like there was a recording of a guy that say, hey, y'all gotta treat this like Henry Ford was building the fucking car when he invented the assembly line. You gotta assembly line these kids in and out of here because you're taking too much time to find out, is it the real parent? Who fucking cares? I need this thing done.
You got to put all that together, and that's what we're dealing with here in California.
Why won't they show you the voter rolls? Why won't they just open them up?
They
why? Wonder why.
Claim that it. Well, you want the real reason or the stated reason?
Stated and then the real.
Yeah, the stated reason is they say that it would violate California's privacy laws to hand over personal identifying information of voters to the federal government. Mind you, we issue most of that personal identifying information, such as a social security number. So they're hiding behind the state.
Oh, okay. The state can't know where you sent me my social security card, Mr. Federal Government. Ain't that some bullshit? Okay, so you heard the recording. So basically I'm not misremembering. This is it. And Gina heard the recording. It's why the Biden administration shunned him. They kind of pushed him aside and shit.
Privacy laws, which don't apply to the federal government in this context. It's preempted by federal statute here. So that's the stated reasons, and they have found lower level judges to side with them, and that's the reason they said they're not handing it over, because they're concerned about.
Oh, because this is the problem. You get these fucking judges, and these fucking judges, they're fucking political. You got political judges appointed that they don't give a fuck about the law. They're gonna prosecute whatever the fuck they want.
The privacy interests of the voters being that information being handed over to the federal government. That's their stated reason. Why? Because they don't want anyone to look under the tent there. They don't want anyone to see how dirty their voter rolls are. They're filthy, dirty voter rolls. They have no desire to clean them up because the system, the people in power, probably benefit from a case.
I'm going to tell you something. The Biden administration had balls. You know what they did? They look at January 7th, went and arrested everybody in and around the fucking Capitol. And I'm not saying it was right. I'm saying they didn't give a fuck about the law. They kept those people locked in there for fucking 48 months. No fucking trial. 48 months. You think they give a fuck about the law? They just went and arrested the motherfuckers. And a whole bunch of them pleaded guilty and made confessions and swore they were, the evil Trump convinced them, and they wrote anything on that paper they wanted because they didn't want to be there for 48 months. But they had the balls to do that. They're evil, but they got balls. I wish this administration had the balls to grab all these motherfucking judges and all these goddamn piece of shit district attorneys. Not this one. This was a federal one, right? This was on our side. District attorneys that don't want to prosecute this fraud, that don't want to prosecute these people in the government, that keep the voter rolls dirty, and just put them in a fucking box. 2 years. We got 2 years. Maybe the next administration is Republican, and they keep them 4 more years until they start snitching on each other, or they just fucking stay in there forever. Because you know why? How come they get to put people in a fucking box for fucking the walking around the Capitol, right? Because a lot of them were just fucking invited in by the cops. The news only showed you one side. On the other side, the cops were just inviting people in, right? So how come for some bullshit trespass, like let's say you were the guiltiest one in there and you broke a window or some shit, that's not like a 4-year sentence. That's a fine and maybe 2 years. Maybe 4 years, fine, but you should at least have a fucking trial. You understand what I'm saying? 48 months without a fucking trial. That's why he did the fucking pardons, because I'm like, motherfuckers, your civil rights have been violated. It's not because they didn't deserve some kind of penalty for being in there, trespassing, after being told to go, not leaving. Like, you got to look at it case by case. Some of them people were invited in. They should get like 0 time in jail. I was like, if the cop says come in, you go in. The cop can't say, oh, come in, and then you get in, you go to jail because you obey the orders of a cop dressed in uniform like that. You can't do that. But some people that maybe they were trespassing, maybe they were told to leave and they decided to stick around. Okay, maybe you give them a couple of months, but to keep them 48 fucking months with no fucking trial is ridiculous. But they fucking did it. They went and they raided their homes. Some of those people left and they went to their homes in different states and raided them and arrested them. The FBI went all over looking for every single motherfucker that went over there to the Capitol. And they did steal the election. Mind you, they were right about what they were protesting. Right? But look at now. Now we had Pam Bondi sending fucking strongly worded love letters to everybody that was breaking the law. At least we got rid of that bitch. At least now we're actually doing some stuff, but it's too fucking slow. These motherfuckers needs to go fucking put handcuffs on these people. Man, okay. I chimped out a little bit. I had to.
Occasional fraud that occurs in there. That's the only rational explanation I could give you, is that they don't want to. They don't want to clean up the fraud. They want to keep the system the way it is.
So are we seeing, I don't know what I can ask you and what I can't ask you. Are you seeing anything that could change the outcome of the vote in large enough numbers? Are you seeing anything like that?
We're looking. We have set up a tip line. I've set up a dedicated email. It is CA election fraud tips at usdoj.gov. We are looking for any sort of wide scale conspiracy, if you will. Right now, I would say our investigations lean more into individual actors. So, when you think
that's a problem, because you got to lean into organizers. If you're leaning to individual actors, I hope this is what they're going for. They're going after organizers. They say actors, but is acting as an organizer, because the organizer might give up the person upstream that's giving them the information, and maybe they'll go high enough to grab some people in power. All right, over here, John is telling us it's way too slow. I thought we see people in jail by now. Bruh, I wish I had a Trump that was one quarter as authoritarian as the Democrats say he is, because all these people would be in fucking jail. If Trump was the monster, one quarter, the monster, the authoritarian that these motherfuckers say he is, all these motherfuckers will be in jail. He is too soft on local policy. He doing okay international. I know they got to refuel. Sailors got to fucking rest. We do a little 60-day MOU timeout so we can build up our weapons. People can rest. And it's not like we're sleeping. We ain't sleeping. If you look at what's happening in Iraq, we are arresting a lot of motherfuckers tied to the IRGC, tied to the fucking regime in Iran. They're getting arrested all over Iraq. They're getting their money taken. They're getting their gold bars taken, golden G-strings. Yeah, they got golden G-strings. I saw that shit. That shit was nasty. That we're going over there getting fucking, you know what Trump did? Trump said, look, if you guys in Lebanon don't start getting along with Israel, I'm going to send the decapitator Jelani to straighten out this Hezbollah situation. Israel, do you want Jelani here with his decapitators? You don't want ISIS here to deal with this? No? What about you, Lebanon? Lebanon, you want ISIS here to deal with your little fucking problem, or are you going to start getting the fuck along with Israel? Oh, no, you don't want Jelani here? You don't want Syria here? Now Lebanon is signing a deal with Israel. They suddenly getting along. They're working together against Hezbollah. So I respect him on the world stage, right? I respect him on the world stage, but I gotta say, on the home front, he's too fucking weak. I know his famous saying for you saying you're fired, but you don't gotta fire people if you hire the right people in the fucking first place. A whole fucking cabinet betrayed him. Michael Pence, that piece of shit. All of those people should have never been hired. You don't gotta fire people if you pick the right people in the first place. But hey, homie's only human, and he's the best fucking president I seen. So I gotta take the good with the bad. And CA State's attorney's wife works with the SAC legislation. I'm not sure what SAC is. State Attorney's Council. I think she's she's the one that helped write the Nick Shirley law. Oh, Sacramento. Okay. Sacramento. State attorney's wife worked for the Sacramento legislation, helped write the Nick because Nick Shirley was fucking exposing their grift. That's right. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Oh, this right here, Gina says, did you know Gavin Newsom is the nephew of Nancy Pelosi? Oh my God. That fucking dinosaur has been grifting forever. Richie had fucking mind-blowing emoji because of the stuff going on. Look, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to link you to Glenn Beck, right? I'm going to go a little bit more, right? I'm going to subscribe because Glenn did good. I'm going to subscribe to both of them. They done good. I'm going to lower a little bit more.
Take to the scales, so now I think in one of the local races here, I mean, you've got, thousands of votes separating them. So theoretically, I'd have to charge thousands of people to prove that it changed the outcome of the election, unless we uncover some sort of wide-scale fraud, which is incredibly difficult to do for the reasons I just went over. But we are looking. And so if there's anyone with inside information, that's the way federal cases are made. They're made with witnesses, insiders, and evidence. And that's the other thing, Glenn. I know a lot of people see a lot of smoke, and I see it too. And there's a lot of theories and statistics. But at the end of the day, in order for me to do my job, which is bring a case to a grand jury in court, I have to have evidence that I could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. It's an extremely high burden and standard, and we don't do that unless we believe we have the evidence to back it up. So that.
Oh, Biden didn't fucking do it. The FBI didn't do it around Biden. So why do you got to do it? Fuck it. Just start arresting people. Make them talk. Hold them in the box for 48 fucking months like Biden did. And let them cry about it. Let them fucking cry about it. Oh, man. I mean, sometimes I think some people is like they don't recognize it's war. They still think we're playing a game and you got to follow the rules. And fuck the rules, man. You're fighting evil. You're not playing patty cake here. But you know what? If he was a dishonorable man, he'd probably be working for the other guys. So I understand. I just want to win. You know what I'm saying? And on that note, know that these people are working their ass off, and there may be enough people that are mad about this shit that may call in that you may get 1,000, you may get 2,000, you may get 3,000, you may get enough to make this case. So, let's pray to God that this case gets made. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm off till tomorrow, but I'm going to tell you what, God bless, Godspeed, and God bless America. Peace.